Okay, so in the last class, actually, we were doing if, elif, and else condition, right? So one more thing about this is left. So let me complete that. Suppose there is a variable known as age, let's say. Okay, there is a variable. Suppose this variable we are taking from user or somewhere. Doesn't matter where it is coming from somewhere. And let's say let it set to be, for now, I'm setting it to be 19. Okay, why I'm taking it? Suppose I'm designing a application for a university admission, in which the condition is that if the person is adult, that means he is minimum 18 years of age, then he's eligible for the course. And if he is not eligible for the, sorry, he is not 18, at least 18, he is not eligible for the course. Okay, so we have to write a program for the same. So very simply we can do that. What we can do, there are different ways. Let me tell you that. So what I can do check if is greater than or equal to 18. Okay, greater than or equal to 18, condition is put a colon there, print what you want to print, you are eligible. Okay, fine. Else you can write, if doesn't satisfy the condition, else we are printing you are not eligible. Okay, this is one way to do that. Let me run this, and in this case it will print you are eligible. One other way to do that, the same thing, which is smarter way of doing. Let me show you that. Same thing we will do, and then we will further simplify. So instead of printing here, what I can do one thing here, message equals to, I take up a variable message and mention that if he satisfy the condition, the message will be you are eligible. And if he doesn't satisfy the condition, the message will be, happened, just a second. Yeah, message will be you are not eligible. Okay. And at the last, out of when we are coming out of this loop, we can print simply message. Okay. Both of them will do the same task, whether we are doing this way or doing this way. When we are doing this way, it gives you a one big power. You will see that. So let me run this. In this case, again, I will see the message you are eligible. Fine. One better way of writing the cell number 2 is that I can further simplify it and write it like a simple plain English language. You can see that I can type, I'm writing if else condition only, but you will read it as I'm writing a simple English language. Okay. So I'm writing that message equals to same, copy, you are eligible if age is greater than equal to 18. Okay. Else same, like this. Sorry. It is going to do same thing here. Whatever we have written here, I have written this way. And it appears that I'm writing a simple English language here. Can you read that? I haven't put in any colon here. After this condition, I should put a colon. But when I'm writing this way, this is known as ternary operation or ternary operator. You can write your if else condition like a simple English language. Okay. So if you read somewhere, the code is written this way, don't get confused. Okay. You may say this code is wrong. You may say this code is wrong. Why? Because no colon is there, but it's 100% correct. Same message has been simplified. I mentioned message is equal to you are eligible when if age is greater than 18. Else, same message will have value you are not eligible. Okay. Let me run this case. In this case, we have defined age to be 19. Remember? So let me run this. Didn't throw any error, means colons are not considered. Let me check what is the value of message. I can do print and message. I should get same value you are eligible. Is it fine? In case I define age to be, in this case, let's say 17. Okay, and run this cell. And again, run this cell. This time it should show you are not eligible. Is it fine, everyone? Another way of writing the if statement, a cleaner way. Both are, it's up to you, whichever method you want. whichever way you want, it's entirely up to you. But you should not get, whenever looking the code of somebody else and you see this, it is written this way and you say, no, sir, he has not put any colon over there. No indentation is there. How it is right? This is another way of writing your if statement known as ternary operator. Is it fine, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's
Yes,
move
sir.
ahead. I hope it is okay with everyone. Okay, so you should know every possible way, because
Yes.
you may meet some professionals in the future, or you may see the code of somebody else. Okay, so you should know what is happening there. That's why I told you augmented assignment operator as well, because professionals use that way. Okay, second very important thing in this is the short circuit operator. What do you mean by that? That's nothing special. If you're engineering from engineering background, you already know that. Python does have a short circuit, means everything is connected together. Short circuit means everything is connected together. For example, I'm writing an expression A and B and C in if condition, example, something like that. Okay. And what I want, when both A, B, and C are true, in that case, something should happen. When A, B, and C all are true simultaneously, then something should happen. All of three. Okay. So what happens in AND gate? Understand how the flow works. First of all, it will check the first variable. First of all, it will check the first variable. Okay. It will see which variable it is. You can see immediately which variable it is. It is the A variable, right? So it will check it is true or false. It is true or false. Let me make it first of all more simple. Let me take, you can understand that one. I'm taking only two variables now. So it will check it's a variable known as A, and it will check which operator here is. Okay, you see that it is an AND operator. Once you see it is an AND operator, right? It will immediately see what it is. It is A is true or false. Once it founds it is true. Remember, understand. Once it found it is true, it cannot give you any result. For the AND operation to be true, remember, both the variables should be true. So in case A is true, it won't give you output. It will wait. It will wait till the result of B comes. And what is B here? If B is true, it will give 1. Okay. In case B becomes 0 here or false here, it will give you 0. But now take opposite. Suppose A is started evaluation from A and immediately it found that A is false. It won't evaluate B now. It won't check what is B. It won't even check what is B because he sees that it's an AND operator. And for an AND operator to give true output, both has to be true. So if first operator is false itself, how can the output will be true? In any case, it cannot be. So it doesn't even check the B. Okay. So if first operator is saying simply, I am false, immediately it will return the false. It won't even go to B. Remember that thing. But in case if A is true, then it will definitely go to the B to check even if B is true or not. Similarly, if I take one more variable here, now you can understand the concept. Okay. If A is true, definitely it is going to check B. If B is true, then definitely it's going to check the C. Right? This is known as short circuit operation, means depending upon your what operation you have using, it evaluates neither, means we need to check B or C. If A is true, definitely need to check B, and C both. If B is suppose A is true, I have to check B. If B is true, I have to definitely check C. But if B is not true but A is true, then 100% sure B is false. That means if B is false, doesn't matter, we don't need to check C again, because even if single is false, definitely output will be false. Is it okay with AND gate, everyone? Please tell me.
Yes,
Is it
sir.
okay? Okay.
Yes.
Remember,
Yes.
it will first of all in our operation, it will check first variable. If it says false, it won't move ahead. Immediately it will give the output false. It will move ahead only in case this variable is true. And similarly, if we take operation A or B or C, what it will do, tell me? How it will evaluate? It will check first of all which variable?
A.
A.
Right? If suppose A comes 1 or A becomes true, what will be the output? Will it evaluate B or C or not? If A is true,
No.
True.
no, it won't evaluate. Remember, what is the OR operation? Even if single one is true, your output will be true. Right? To save the time, to save your precious time, the Python has done this thing. Why need to calculate further? But in case A is false, what will happen? In case A is false, in case of OR operation, what will happen?
It will move for B.
Yeah, it will move for B. And in case B is also false, then
Check for C.
yes, very good. But in case A is false, but B is true, then
Then it will show the one result.
yes, immediately it will give the true result. It won't check the C. This is known as short circuit operation. So remember, whenever you are writing some conditions, properly put A, B, and C. I mean to say that whatever condition you want to put, ensure to put them properly and smartly. Is it fine? That's why you need to understand it properly, how Python evaluates your AND operation and OR operations. It is very, very important thing to consider. You may write your code and illogically place your A, B, and C condition. You may say, sir, this is happening, but it should not happen, something like that, because this is simple AND gate. Okay. In future, you may write AND plus OR together, right or wrong? Combination of complex expressions together. In that particular scenario, you made a mistake. So isliye remember, that's why it is very much mandatory for each and every one of you to remember how AND operator is evaluated and how OR operator is evaluated. In case of AND, everyone knows what will happen. It will first of all check A. If A is true, what will happen? Check B.
B.
Right? If B is true, check C. Fine. But in case A is false, what will happen? It won't check B and C. Is it okay or not? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Similarly, in this case, if we talk here, if A is true in this case, yeah, if A is false, let's say, if A is false, what will happen? It will check B. If B is also false,
Check C.
yeah, it will check C. Right? But if A itself says true, then what will happen?
It won't check.
Yeah, it won't check B and C. Okay. So remember this thing. This is known as short circuit operation. Hope it is clear to everyone, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is very much important. Whenever you are writing your logical operations in the if condition, please keep a check on that, how it is evaluated. Okay, so now moving further to the thing which you will be using very, very frequently, to the loops. So we are going to the loops now. And why we use loops? Simple. When we want to run a repeated piece of code, okay, when we want to run a repeated piece of code, why we want to waste our manpower in writing all that code? Suppose I want to print, example, hello 10 times. Okay, so one way is that, let me put, if I'm typing hello, let me put it inside the string. And one way to do that is type it 10 times. Something like that. Right? It will do my task. But don't you think it is a wastage of manpower? Why we are writing so many times? When we want to perform a repeated piece of task again and again and again, for that purpose, what is better? Go with the loops. Okay, this thing we can done in 2 lines of code only. Why we are doing that? For example, I want to do same task. Let me run this code. It is printing hello, hello, hello. But I can do the same task. I can do the same task in just 2 lines of code. How? I'll come to that is syntax for I in range. I'm putting 10. Syntax, just printing. See, same thing has happened. I just need to write 2 lines of code and it is doing my cards. Fine. So whenever we want to perform some repeated piece of code or repeated task in that particular scenario, what is better? We always prefer looping. Okay. So there are 2 kind of loops in the Python which are available. One is known as we have mentioned here, for loop. And second one is known as while. Okay. So for repetitive task, we will use loops, and there are 2 kinds of loops here. One is known as for loop and one is while loop. And what is the basic difference between them? When we know the exact number, or we want to run a loop for, or we want to run the loop for fixed number of times. For example, I knew in the beginning that I want to run this code 10 number of times, right? I know in the beginning, but when you don't know the number, how many times I have to run this loop? How many times I want to run this loop? In that particular scenario, what you have to do? You have to do for another type of loop known as while loop. In while loop, the loop condition is executed till your condition is true. Let me you will understand. Suppose I'm designing a guessing game in which I ask you to guess some password that I have set. Okay, I've designed a game in which the game name is guess game, in which you will guess the password I have set. Okay, and want to give you only 3 chances. I want to give you 3 chances. This is one way. One way is that I want to give you only 3 chances. Second way is that I will allow you to enter password as many times till you succeed. So this is what the game levels. Let's say that's a game level. When I'm I'm letting you enter the password indefinite number of times. The game level is very easy. You're just beginner, so I'm giving you chances. Please enter as many as time till you get succeeded. Right? When the game level becomes harder and harder and harder, I will reduce the number of chances given to you, and I give you only 3 chances. So when it is fixed that I want to give you only 3 chances to get succeeded, to guess your password or to enter your password. To enter your password, I give you only 3 chances. In that, if you succeed, that's fine. Otherwise, you are a failure. So one way is to let you allow enter password 3 times. One way is to allow you enter password till you succeed. Till you succeed. Now you can guess in which condition, what kind of loop you will be used, for loop and while loop. In which case, please tell me. When I want to give you 3 chances, which loop you will be using?
For loop.
For loop.
Yes,
For
very
loop.
good, very good, right? And when I want to allow you unlimited number of times till you succeed,
While loop.
while loop. Okay, so you
While
can
loop.
keep that in mind. If you want to run a loop till a particular condition is satisfied, go with the while loop. And when you want to run the loop for a fixed number of times, go for the for loop. Oh, you will remember that. Okay, now moving ahead, let's move to the first of all for.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, I had doubt in short circuit operator. One
Yeah,
question.
please. Yeah, please.
Sir,
tell me.
if I write that one in if condition, I write
Yeah.
true is equal to true, equal to false, equal to false. So how it will?
I'm
sir,
not getting what you're saying.
Sir, can you type it? If I,
Sure. Please tell me. Just let me tell you. Yeah, please tell me if.
if
Yeah.
in bracket true is
In bracket.
equals to true, equal
Mhm.
to true,
Okay.
equal to false,
Equal to
false.
Yeah.
Equal to false,
equal to
false.
false.
So how this statement will execute? Because if true, if you are going from left to right, so
Yeah.
true is equal to true. It's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
True is equal to false. It will be false, and false equal to false. It will be true. Means if you go like this.
Yeah. Actually, you are right. Absolutely right. Let me check it.
But it
How
is
it.
not printing. It's not printing. So
Let
if
me check.
condition.
Let me check what it does. Let me check. Let me check. Let me check what it will do. It's not doing anything.
Yes, sir.
True equals to true. Print hello. Let me check one more thing. Yeah, absolutely right. Actually, understand what thing it will do this thing. See, I'm doing that print. Let me better make it true. You'll understand that better way. And let me do it. False. You should print false. You may understand the reason. See, the complete result of this expression, okay, will decide what is going to happen. If it is going to result, if it is going to result in true, if it is going to result in true, then the complete expression will print true. If this is not going to result in true, it is going to print false, right? So what happens is that it checks from this condition. It started from left, although you won't find this kind of condition ever, right or wrong? You won't find this. This is just a test and experiment that we are doing.
Yes, sir.
True equals to true equals to false equal to false. These are the conditions which are never ever available. These are just trial we are doing, right? Nothing else.
Yes.
Normally you will put your whatever variables are there. You will put there and check them and evaluate them, right? This is a special case that we are doing. So start from here. True is always true, right?
Yes.
True is always true. Whenever I'm writing true, right? It is always true. Nothing matter. This is always true, right? The result is always true. No problem
Yes,
with
sir.
that. Result is always true in that case, right? Even if write this way, okay, then whatever output it is giving. Actually, we can put bracket, then it will give a proper results. In that case, we want to evaluate. So we are going true here. So it will check here. It will say it's true is equal to true, right? Then true equals to false is a false condition,
Yes, sir.
right? In that case, actually, we are not able to. The issue is that these are the conditions that we have put here: true, false, true, false. These are not some kind of that condition in which we can decide operator precedence. Please mute yourself. These are nothing, something like that. We can decide a operator precedence or something which is going to evaluate first. Actually, this is the issue here. Okay, so when we are going to do that way, it is true is always true. This true is always true. This is already telling what condition we are checking. Even if we write this one only, see if I let me make it comment, okay, and let me type here true. Do you think what it's going to print?
Yes, sir. It will be true for a semicolon.
It will print true only.
Yeah,
Let me run this.
the semicolon is true.
Okay, yeah, forget it. Let me put semicolon. And let me press here, press tab, and let me run this. Fine. Even if I write 1, what do you think what it will print?
It will be true only.
Anything given here except 0, your none, or blank string, it will always consider as a true only. If we don't put anything, if I'm run this, it will also return true. Okay. If I put 0 here, in that condition, it will return false. Or if I put empty string here, it will return false. There are certain cases in which consider return false, otherwise it always returns true. So this is actually the case which is happening here.
So, sir, so the in between condition becomes false. So
No,
it
actually, we can't exactly tell how it is evaluating, right? Because
Yeah.
true is considered as true only. Right?
Yes,
True is
sir.
always considered. These conditions are already evaluated conditions. Okay. What we can do, we can put here instead of equals to operation, if we put some logical operations, then definitely it is going to give a result properly. Definitely it is going to result properly. If we put some logical, for example, we put between the two truths, we put any AND operation, or between the two truths, I put an OR operation. Then definitely we can make a conclusion how it will evaluate. In this case, how will you consider how it is going to evaluate? It is falsifying all our assumptions, right? It is already true. It is already true, already evaluated. Now we are completing two binary conditions together. True equals to true, right? Let me try
Yes.
one. Let me try one more thing. Let me make it bracket. Okay. Let me make it bracket. Fine. Now let us check what happened. True equals to true is true. False equal to true. Both are true, so should return true. Let me check it. Now this way we can make a conclusion somehow, right or wrong?
So, sir, how it was interpreting that initial
Actually,
statement?
that's what I'm saying. The statement that we have written, that is not a proper statement. This is something we should avoid always, all the time. That we have written means we are not able to make any conclusion how it is evaluated, because already the conditions are true and false here, and there is no operating precedence between them. There is no operating precedence, right? So if it is true and this is true, so what is happening if we consider that way? Okay, this will result in true. True equals to false will result in false. And again, if we take away false equal to false will be true. So ideally this should be printed, but I don't know how they are evaluating that way, because we don't found this kind of statement ever. You won't even find in the life for sure, in any of the code. Never ever. We never write any piece of code which we are not sure of what it is going to result in. As you can see, it is returning false. But how it is returning false, we cannot make it out until we make explicit, means we make something true. We
The
make like
statement
this.
is running, so it's not a false statement.
No,
Means,
it's a false statement for sure. That's why it is returning the false value, right?
So it
But
will be evaluating in a one sequence now. That's why.
it is returning, but we are not able to guess how it is pretending.
Okay, sir.
We are not able to pretend it, right? We are not able to guess it. How if we put it that way, then definitely we can make a conclusion out of it. How it is going to evaluate, right? Easily, very easily. True equal to true is true. False equal to false equal to true. So both are true. In case of both are true, we can make equivalent. We can make it out. But how this is doing that, we have to check it out. I never ever in my life encountered this kind of thing, and neither you will find for sure. You will never ever find this kind of code, because we are not able to make it out how it is computing. Already the binary conditions are here. No? We
Yes,
can make
sir.
it out. We can't already make it. These are already evaluated expressions, and we are doing that. Let me check one more thing. We can do one thing if it is available anywhere. I don't think so. Is there any priority? I don't think so. There is any priority. Any priority in evaluating? What should I say? True and falses in comparison operation. Something like that only we can write. Comparison operation. That's it. Doesn't matter which branch, whether it is Python or something, right? Let me check it if it is anything available. This is Microsoft is giving something. This is C. Well, everything is equal only, right? So we can't consider operator.
Sir, I think so. They are going from right to left. We were going to left to right, no?
No, normally in
No,
case
no,
of short
okay.
circuit, we go from always left to right.
Okay,
In
okay, sir, sorry.
operator precedence, we always go from left to right. That's why. Let me check. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. If I put if true, right? See, and true and false. Okay. What will happen if I do print? Let me say print hello, and I'm going here. Else print not hello. Okay. So we consider this way. So what will happen? First of all, this will check it is true. We will say, okay, which kind of operation it is? It is AND. So all has to be true. First is true. We can't give the output. Second is true. We can't give the output. We have to check third one. Okay. We always move from this place to this place, left to right, not right to left. Even if you consider in this above case, na, again you will fall confusion, because false.
It's the same only, sir. Means true only coming that.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, this is the case. So always consider from left to right. We move from left to right and operate in that one short circuit evaluation ever.
Okay, so we are not able to evaluate what is it is doing. That interpreter
Yeah,
is doing.
yeah. We are not able to. Let me check it. Let me see, and you should also search it. Is there
Okay,
any? Is there anything which actually we never find this kind of equation somewhere? true equals to false equal to false, because we are not writing a right expression here. Right, we are not writing a right expression here. We are not maintaining any that cardinality, we should say. Means how we are evaluating true equals to false equal to false. What we want to do, what we want to check actually. Okay, so always what we do, we first of all compute something, then we compute something, then we compute something until there is an operator precedence there. If there is an operator precedence, definitely I can make out. For example, I type expression like this: a plus, sorry, or I mentioned 3 plus 2 multiplied by 5. Okay, if we know the operator precedence, then definitely we know that multiplication is given first priority, then addition is given. In that case, we are able to do that very properly. Otherwise, if we don't know any priority, what is recommended? Put brackets there. If you don't know there is no priorities, always you should type what you want to evaluate. I want to evaluate, once you get this, that's 100% assurance that I want to evaluate this first. 2 into 5 into 10. Even if I don't tell you what is the operator precedence, you can definitely understand that, okay, this has to be evaluated first. That is recommended method wherever expression you are creating. If you are not sure how it is going to execute, put brackets there. 100% assurance will be there that your output is always going to be proper. Remember, I did this practice yesterday as well. If you remember the code, I told you the same thing. This is my best practice. I used to put brackets there so that there is never ever any confusion. Remember, I told you yesterday the same thing. If you can recall,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
I told you
yes.
intentionally, this is my best practices. I always enclose the things in bracket so that I'm always sure. It's easy for me to troubleshoot what expression is going to come out. Okay, this is what recommended method is. No issue, we can check it out. I never encountered this kind of thing ever. Let me check. Is there any priority or something? How they are going to evaluate? For sure, they are evaluating it as a false for sure. That's why we are getting false here. Now we have to check how it is evaluating that false. That's the thing.
Yes, sir.
That's we have
Okay,
to
sir.
check. No issue. Okay. So we were moving to the for loop. So let me go that with that. Okay. So what is the syntax of for loop? Consider that thing. Syntax is for loop variable. Loop variable, put it together so that you can understand this is the same word. For loop variable in sequence, for loop variable in sequence, colon, statements. Whatever statement you want. For example, this is statement number 1. Beneath that, there is a statement number 2, and so on. As many statements as you want. It's up to you. So how it will be evaluated, understand that. First, let us understand what is loop variable, and then I should understand what is sequence, and then we'll come to that. Okay. So understand, suppose, what do you mean by sequence? Sequence is nothing but a collection of elements. A collection of elements in a particular sequence. A collection of elements in a particular sequence. Example, if you talk about a string, suppose I'm taking a string here and a string name is, let's say, Python. Okay, so it's a collection of characters, right or wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a collection of what? Collection of characters. And each individual element you can access or not? Please tell me. Each individual element of a string you can access or not? Yes, we can do that. How? We know that. What we can do? We can put indexing like S0, right? S1, S2, S3, and so on. This is the sequence, means sequence of characters, and every element of that we can access. Similarly, there are other sequences as well. What? Example, let me take another sequence known as list. And list consists of different kind of elements. Let's say it consists of 1, 2, 3, and it may consist of other elements as well. Not mandatory of same type. It may consist of element of different types as well. Example, it consists of a string, same string that we have written Python. So in the string, as in list also, we'll study all these things. This list type, and these are primitive types. Remember, there were 3 primitive types. One was your numeric data, that is numbers. Second was Boolean. Third was strings. There are other complex data types, and list is one of them. We'll study that thing. After for loop and while loops are over, we're going to study list and tuples and dictionary as well. So L equals to pi. The same way we can access its element, like L. I put L like this, and I can access its element 0, like 0 and 1 and 2 and so on. Similarly, there are other elements like tuple. Tuple is represented by these brackets, okay, this way, and we can write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or other data types, doesn't matter. We put there. Similarly, we have dictionaries as well. Okay, so there are several type of sequences there, which consist of different data elements, and every element you can access by indexing. Okay, let me show you with an example. Let me take this list as well. Let me take this list and let me run this and check its element. Suppose I want to check its first element. So I will type L bracket 0. It will return me 1. Okay. If I want to check this element, then it is 1, 2, that means 0 index, 1 index, 2 index, 3rd index. Let me put 3. So it will return me Python. Fine. So you can access its element again. Similarly, you want to go with the tuple. So take this tuple and put it, give it a name. Let's T. We want to write its access element. So check T bracket 0. You can see I can access its elements. Okay. So these are the sequences which are available here. Okay. So what happens in the for loop is that you will put a sequence here. You will put a sequence element here. It may be a string, it may be a list, it may be a tuple, or any other element, or it may be a range function as well. I'll come to that range function. Any range function is that anything which generates a sequence you can put here. Okay, and these particular element that we are putting here, and these elements which are putting here, means in the sequence thing we are putting here, are known as, remember, there is one more way to write the syntax of for loop is for loop variable in iterable. Instead of sequence, I'm writing here iterable. Understand what do you mean by that? Iterable statements, whatever statements you want to write. Whatever statements you want to write them as well. Okay. What is iterable? So let me write the definition of iterable so that you can understand. Remember that definition. An iterable is any Python object. An iterable is any Python object capable of returning its members one at a time. I repeat once again. An iterable is any Python object capable of returning its members one at a time, permitted it to be used, yeah, it to be iterated. That is a proper word. It to be iterated over in for loop. In simple that. For example, I take up a list here. It has 4 elements. Okay, it has 4 elements. So we can call it as iterable if we are able to get its individual elements. If we are able to access its individual elements together. For example, if I want to do same kind of thing in a number, for example, I've mentioned for I in 3.23. This is a floating point number. Let me take an integer as well. Okay. And try to print anything. Let me say. Okay. So what will happen if it immediately throw an error? You see that. Can you see what it is saying? int object is not iterable, means you cannot access its individual elements. Are you getting my point clearly or not? You are not able to access its individual element. Either I put a floating point number here, 3.20. I cannot separate them. I cannot individually. It's not possible. I can get 3 individually, 2 individually, 0 individually, which was possible in what? Which was possible in your strings, right? We were able to guess individual element by indexing S0, S1, S2. List, we were able to get 1, 0 something. Tuple, we were able to get, right? But in integers or in something, it is not possible at all. Let me run this again. You will see again. Float object is not iterable. Let me see once again. Let me assign a equals to 3.20. Okay, I run this. And I'm trying to access its first element. Let's see. Let's try to access its first element. The normal way we do. Let's put 0. Do you think what we will get? It will throw an error. It's not iterable. You cannot access its individual elements. Can you see? You cannot access that. Okay, so any sequence or any object whose individual elements you can access, okay, can be considered as for iteration. Okay, so get my point how it will run. Suppose I'm taking a string here. Let me take a string again. Let's say that string is Python only. Okay, let me write a string. So I'm writing an instruction for loop variable. For loop variable, I'm writing anything you want to write, you can write for character in Python. I can put any sequence here, remember? Any iterable here, whose individual element you can access. Whose individual element you can access, you can put here. So string we can access, we know. So we can put any iterable here. So I put a iterable like this one, right? For character in Python, so what this will do, understand first of all, what it is going to happen. And let me type print here. And within that, I want to write character. So how this program is going to execute, if you understand this thing, your for loop will become very, very easy for you. Very, very, very easy for you. Okay, you will put colon, press enter. So again, in the you will get some indentation over here. So whatever is coming here will be considered as a part of for loop. Okay, so how it will behave, understand that. What it will do, it is able to access, this for loop is able to access its individual element. Able to access individual elements. So what will happen? How many characters are there? Count in the string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can immediately say there are 6 elements in the Python. So this for loop will run for 6 iterations. Understand my thing. There are how many elements are there in string? In this string, 6. So it will have 6 iterations. Please tell me, is it fine or not? Till this point, it will have 6 iterations.
Yes, sir.
Everyone, please.
Yes, sir.
Right? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Got an idea? If I put sad here, how many iterations will be there?
3.
Very good. That's the main thing. If I put anything like suppose cat, how many cat or cat dog mix, how many iterations will be there?
6.
Very good. Okay. Now see. So suppose I put my Python back here. So we are sure there are 6 iterations. So what will happen in first iteration? Understand, the value of character variable that you have put here in the first iteration, the value of character variable will be equals to the first element of your list. That is, character variable that you have put here will be equals to your p. Is it fine? Okay. In first iteration, the value of character variable will be p. Okay. So what will happen for it eventually becomes for p in Python. The value of character comes in first iteration to be p. So we are print character. So in first iteration, what will be printed on the screen? We will be seeing p. Is it fine? This
Yes,
is
sir.
happening in first iteration only. I'm repeating in first iteration. Now, once this has been done, means this character has been printed, it will move to the next element. What is the next element after p? Y. Now, what your character will occupy? Anybody can tell me. Please tell me what will happen. what will happen?
It will print Y.
We have considered T already. Now for next iteration, your pointer will move to the second point. And what it is consisting of? Y. So now the character will be having the value Y. So what will be printed here? Whatever the current value of character is, what is the current value of character in this case is Y.
Y.
So now Y will be printed. In third iteration, can you tell me what is happening? What will happen? Pointer will move to the next point. And what it is having now? T. So character will be having the value T. So whatever character is having right now, that will be printed. That means T will be printed. Okay. Similarly, in fourth iteration, now you can tell me what will happen.
Pointer will move to next
Yes.
element.
H. So H will be printed. Then O will be printed. Then N will be printed. Anything else left out in this your string after N?
No.
Then
No.
your for loop will terminate and you will get out of the loop. Let me run this and you can see that. Please check it. Please check it and tell me.
Yes, sir.
Everyone, please pay proper attention.
Yes.
Everything. Okay. And actually, how for loop is working behind the hood. Let me show you that. Same thing we can do without the for loop as well. For that, we need two methods or two functions known as iter functions and next function. See, same function I'm copying. Let's say my function name is again Python. Okay. So what I am doing, I'm using a method or a function known as iter function. So same I said my iteration equals to I used a function known as iter function. And within that iter function, I put s there. Within the iter function, I put s there. So what will happen? Now I will be able to access every single element of this string. I will be able to access every single element of this string s. Okay. After that, what I have to do, I have to print these characters individually, one after one. Okay. So who has given you the access of each individual element? That iter function has given. Now, once one character is printed, I want to move to the next character. For that, again, what I have to do, I have to use one more function known as next. It will point it once your one character is printed, it will take your iter function to the next variable printed. Once that printed, move to the next. Means like we were moving in the for loop, same thing is going to happen. So I'm putting here inside the next, whatever iter you have created, that is my iter. Okay. So if I execute this, I'll get only one character. Let me run this. See, P. How many characters are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So if I want to print all the characters, copy this and paste it 6 times. 5 times it is done. 6 times it is done. So once this will be done, your pointer will move to the next. So Y will be printed. That's why I'm putting next every time, so that you can move to the next variable. Okay. So I'm doing that. Let me run this. Now you will get the same output that you were getting ahead. Can you check, please? Both are giving exact same output, and everything like this iter method, next method are happening internally inside your for loop. All this thing which is we have done here is happening internally inside this. So if you don't remember this, perfectly fine. Just I told you to understand the basics. What is how the for loop is actually working? It's happening this way. It has inbuilt this method, iter and next. Automatically it is doing that. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Everyone, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let me do one thing. And suppose I want to say you print hello. as many number of times, I repeat once again, you have to use your IQ, please understand. Print hello as many number of times, as many characters in your string. Is it fine? Print hello as many number of times, as many characters you are having in the string. So how can we do that?
So by using while loop.
While loop.
No,
By
not
using for loop, sir.
again by the for loop only, because your string has a fixed length or not,
Yes.
right? Your string has a fixed length. Same thing I can do, right? I am copying this code again.
For character in hello.
So, any character you can take. It's up to you. Any character. Suppose you want to type Python or something. So instead of printing character here, I can put
Hello.
hello here. That's it. Doesn't matter. Okay. So character will take P. Let it be. We don't bother about what character is holding. I need to perform this task. That's it. Right or wrong? If I use character, then it's different issue. I don't want to use that character. I'm using as a loop variable only. Okay, it is coming. So once P is coming here, it will print hello. Y is coming here, it will print hello. If you want to use them, use them. It's up to your choice. So if I run this, I will see hello 6 times. Let me run this. Please check it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so understand both the cases means you can use this loop variable two ways. One, just to make it run as many number of times as your variables or as your literals in your string, or as many characters in your string. Second way, use that in your program itself. Is it fine? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now come
Yes,
to
sir.
one more thing. This is an interesting thing. Let me come to ahead. Understand both the cases, right? So you can use your loop variable. Not necessary that you have to use your loop variable in your statements. It's not mandatory. That's why I wanted to show you. That's why I wanted to show you that it is not mandatory to use your loop variable inside your statements. Not at all mandatory. If you want to use them, you can use them like we did here. Entirely up to your choice. Okay, so depending upon your application, you can use that. One more thing, there is a function known as range function. What it does, it's again a data type, a complex data type, and it generates a sequence of numbers. It generates a sequence of number. What arguments did it take? From where you want to start the number, okay, where you want to end, and this start is optional. You want to give it, doesn't matter. If you don't give it, it will consider that start from 0. Okay, and it is mandatory where you want to end, and whatever number you will give at the end, it will take one less than that. Remember that. Suppose I put 10, so it will take numbers from only till 9. And third one again is optional, is step. Step. It's optional. So if you don't give it, it will take a step to be 1. We want to skip number, for example, I said generate the numbers from 1 to 10. Okay, from 1 to 10. Then what I have to put? I have to put here. Tell me, anybody can tell me? If I don't put here, what it default it will take? Start
0.
0. I told you it will take 0. If I don't put anything in the start, it will take as 0. Let me show you that. Let me show you that. Let's see. For example, I want to just print for I in range. You will understand that thing. I in range number. I just put the number 10. Okay. So I just put one argument. Can anybody tell me which argument it is? Start, end, or step? Look at what I have. Yes, it is end. Okay. So what default, by default, it is going to take the start. Remember,
0.
I told you, yes, 0.
0.
Okay. And remember, it won't count 10. It will take one less than this. So it will generate number from 0 to 9.
9.
Yes. And step I haven't not mentioned. So it will take in one step. So 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If you want to see them, you can see them. See, I'm printing just I. What numbers it is generating. Same way. So it is going to generate numbers from 0 to 9. In first iteration, the value of I will be 0. So we can get 0 here. In second iteration, the value of I will be 1. So 1 will be here. Okay, so I'm running this. You can check it out, please. Fine. Now you people tell me, I want to generate numbers from 1 to 10. What should I do? I want to generate
1,
numbers.
10
Now
inside
I want to generate
1,
numbers 1.
11.
Yes.
1,
Yes.
11.
Yes. 1, 11. Right? 1, 11. Okay. Let me run it. Fine. Is it okay? Suppose I want to skip them. I want to leave alternate numbers. So I am putting a step of 2. Okay. Let's see. Can you see that? It skipped one number. Is it okay with everyone?
Yes, sir.
Please confirm. Similarly, see, if I put 10 here, if I put, let's see, 0 here, and if I put -1 here, in the step size, I put it -1. Remember, whenever we put a step minus inside the step, that means we move backwards. Remember or not, we studied that in the string as well, right? So I'm typing this. So it is going to start from 10. Where we want to go? We want to go till 0, but it will take 1 less than that. And we have to travel in opposite direction. So what numbers it will give? It will give the numbers 10 to 1, but in opposite direction. Let me run that. Please check it. Understand each and every concept. That is very important, please, every one of you.
Yes, sir.
Get an idea what is start, what is end, what is step.
Yes, sir.
That's great. Okay. Now suppose what I want to do, let me show someone how many attempts we are giving to someone. Let us take an example. You can tell me the output, what output I will get. Suppose I'm writing a number for, see properly, okay? For number, any number you can write here, anything you want to write, you can write here in the loop variable, whatever name you want to give. Just don't use the keywords which are available. Otherwise, whatever name you want to put, it's entirely your choice. For example, typing for number in range. Okay, range is also generating a sequence of numbers. That's why it is iterable. Range.
0, 1, 2, 3, 4
I am putting 3 here. Okay, colon, enter. And please tell me what will be the output. Print, quotes, attempt. Okay, attempt. And here I am putting number. Can anybody tell me what will be printed?
Attempt 0, attempt 1, attempt 2.
0, attempt 1, attempt 2.
Everyone 100% correct. Very good. I think you get an idea how your for loop is going to work. Everyone got an idea. Is it okay with everyone? Please tell me.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
That's very good. Okay, you get an idea. So let's see. Attempt 0, attempt 1, and attempt. Is it okay? Fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now let's move one step ahead. In fact, 2 steps ahead. Now let's design a system. Okay, where suppose I have a password. Okay, and that is password is known as, let's say, PWD, and I set a password to be any password I want. Suppose I put 1, 2, 3 ABC. Okay, and @ whatever, doesn't matter. Okay, I create a password. Understand the problem carefully. Okay, I want to ask user, please guess my password. Please guess my password. Okay, and I want to give him only 3 attempts. Again, the same thing is coming. I want to give him only 3 attempts. If he succeeded in the first attempt, just move out of the for loop. That's it. If he doesn't get succeeded, give him second attempt. If he doesn't get succeeded, give him third attempt. But if even third attempt he's not able to guess, okay, show him the message that you attempted 3 times and you got failed. My problem is clear. I'm repeating once again. I have set up a password. I want to play a game known as guess game, in which I will ask the user to enter the password, and I will give him 3 attempts. If he gets succeeded in the first attempt, I will not ask him to enter the password again. Why should I ask? Right or wrong? This is the way your Gmail works. If you remember, if you get succeeded, did it ask you to enter the password again?
No, sir.
It
No,
doesn't
sir.
ask you. Okay. So same way we have to design. If we design it this way, see, if we design it this way, sorry, let me create a cell here. Okay. For what is happening? For let me put anything I want to put for number. How many attempts I want to give him? Remember, 3 attempts, right? So I'm putting for attempts in range. Or we can put attempt as well, whatever name we want to put, it's up to you. And how many times you want to, how many chances you want to give him? Only,
3.
tell me, 3. So what should I write inside the range function?
2.
No. If I will write 2, it will give only 2 attempts.
4.
3.
I have to write 3.
3.
Exactly.
0, 1, 2.
Yeah, 0, 1, and 2. Or this is a different way also. You can write 1, 4 as well. It will work, right or wrong? It will
Yes,
give the
sir.
numbers 1, 2, 3. It's entirely your choice. Okay. So I'm putting here 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So inside this, I'm asking him, please guess the password. Okay. I'm asking him, please guess the password. So I'm giving the name guess equals to input. Guess equals to input. And I'm asking him, please enter your password. Okay. Please enter your password. Once he entered this password, okay, I want to print first what? This is your, understand each and everything please properly. It's your attempt, put a comma here, or you can use formatted string as well, and entirely up to you. And what is the number here? A number. Is it fine? Please tell me. Please tell me. Is it fine? This is a string I put it here, and I put a comma here, and after the comma I put the variable name here. Is it fine? Other way we can
Yes.
also do. Other way we can also do. We can put a formatted string here. It's entirely my choice. So attempt, I put curly braces, and inside that I put number. That's it. Remove this. Same way we can adopt the output, right? All the thing we have studied. So I put it there. Now, if the guess equals, if guess equals, right? PWD, that is the password we have set. What we want? Remember what we want? We want the loop to continue, or we want to get out of the loop? Tell me. If he gets the right password in any attempt, do we want to continue, or we want to get him out of the loop?
Out of the loop.
Out
Right?
of the loop.
And for getting out of the loop, depending upon certain condition, there is a statement here known as break. Remember that. If you will put break, it will come out of the loop. It will immediately come out of your loop. Is it fine? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Is it okay,
Yes, sir.
everyone? Please tell me, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. If I'm not going to check this condition, what will happen? 3 times it will ask. Let me remove this and let me run this. Okay. I put anything, 1, 2. Whether even if I type correct password, doesn't matter. I am typing the same password. It will immediately ask me again, please enter your password. See, asking again or not? 3 times it will ask, then it will not ask. Is it okay? Please tell me. Fine. So what is good? We don't want this. So what do I have to do? I have to do if your guess equal PWD, get out of the loop. I press enter, remember? So I'm coming inside the if loop now. Everything is happening inside the for loop now. Okay. If this doesn't get true, it will go back to the for loop, again ask how many times? 3 times. Okay. But remember the other condition. If he fails in all the condition, then what has to be done? Remember, we have to throw him a message that you attempted 3 times and failed. For that purpose, what you have to do, come and put a else condition. This is known as for else condition. You can use else with the for as well. I'll tell you when the else will actually execute. Else print you attempted 3 times, but you failed. You attempted 3 times, but you failed. Now understand each and everything, what is going to happen in what time. Okay. So this else will only be executed if this break is not executed. Remember that. Are you getting my point? This else is going to be executed if your break is not going to be executed. Means you have not leave the loop midway. You have completed all the iterations. Only then this else will execute. If you have forced to leave the loop, that means break has been executed, then this else statement won't be executed. And you can understand that thing. When will this break execute? Only when the condition is true. And when the condition is true, then why will you print that? Okay, so remember, this else will only and only execute when this break statement is not executed. Means this is going to be executed when all 3 attempts are failed. You have completed all the iterations. Is it fine? Let me try. Is it okay with everything? Please tell me. Each and every concept is clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Everyone, please. Everyone, please. I'm waiting. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, please. Somebody's trying to say something. Nothing? Should I run this? Please tell me, should I run this?
Yes, sir.
Now, one more thing we have to troubleshoot. We will see that for now. Actually, what it will show attempt number 0, attempt number 1, attempt number 2. It will show that way. Why? Because we have taken 3 here. So how the number it is going to count? It is going to count from 0 to 2. So here in the first iteration, number will be 0. It will show this is your attempt number 0, attempt number 1, attempt number 2, which is not a good way. 2 ways you can solve that: by putting a plus here and 1 here. So whatever number will come here, initially it will come 0. So it will add to 1. It will show 1. So attempt number 1, attempt number 2, and attempt number 3. Second way, you already know. How can we solve that? Put 1 and 4 here. Second way we can do that, instead of 3, we can put 1 and 4 here. Is it okay, everyone? Please tell me, is it fine? Both are perfectly acceptable. Whatever method you want to do, it's entirely your choice. Okay, so let me run this. Suppose I'm using 1 and 4. What the reason why it will show 0, 1, and 2? Everyone, is it clear? If we put 3 here, it is going to show 0, 1, and 2. Is it okay with that or not, everyone?
Yes.
You have seen that attempt 0, attempt 1, attempt 2. Why? Because it will take the number 0, 1, and 2. But if I put number plus 1, then definitely it is going to return me 1, 2, and 3. So it's entirely your choice, whatever method you want to prefer. If you don't want to make any changes here, just make changes here. 1, 4. So now it will give the number from 1 to 3. So let me run this. Okay. Let me guess, first of all, a wrong password. Okay. Let me put a wrong password. Let I post ABC. Just ABC. What it said? This is attempt number 1. Please enter your password again. Okay. So password again, I'm putting wrong. Intentionally, I will put 3 times wrong so that we can see what will happen with the else. Okay. I'm putting 1, 2, 3 now only. Again, wrong. Now attempt number 3 is coming. So let me put TGH, anything again, so that I can fail here and else should be printed. And we should immediately for loop should terminate because all the 3 iterations have gone. Can you see that? Your for loop has stopped and you attempted 3 times, but you failed. Is it perfect? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Similarly, let me do one thing. In first attempt only, or second attempt, let me first make a wrong attempt. I type 1, 2, 3. Attempt number 1, I failed. Now let me type the exact password. 1, 2, 3, ABC @hash. Okay. Let me see. Is it fine? Please tell me. Clear? Attempt number 2, password has been succeeded. You are out of your loop. You are out of your loop, right? Or you can do one more thing to be look better. Print one more thing here. Print. Hey, you got success. You are passed. You are allowed. Now it looks better. Let me run this again. Okay. So I intentionally put first time wrong. Doesn't matter. I can put even first time correct as well. Okay. In second attempt, I put correct 1, 2, 3, ABC @hash. Okay. Let me enter this. So what should I get? I should get this is your attempt number 2. And hey, you got success. You are allowed. Let me check this. Please check it. We didn't get the else. Else will only come when all 3 iterations are completed and you didn't get out of the loop because of break. If anything, if break is executed, you won't get the else. Let me do one more thing. Okay. In third attempt, we will do success. Okay. So let me put 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 again. And let me do third time. So that third iteration. Okay. So although all the iterations of for will be completed, but we will be executing this break statement. So else won't be, although we are at third last one, but we are using that break statement. Okay. That's why you won't get this else statement. So I'm putting again, right? 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, ABC @hash. Okay. What happened here? We put some mistake. Okay. I put the wrong password. Again, let me do one second. Instead of 1, 2, 3 ABC I put 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9 ABC That's okay. 1, 2, 3, 7, 5, 6. And third attempt means automatically, although for loop should finish, but the break will execute. That's why else won't be printed. 1, 2, 3 ABC @hash. Okay. Can you see? All the 3 attempts have been executed, but because you got success here, password was matched and break statement was executed. All the 3 iterations were there, but at you succeeded at the last. That's why else has not been executed. I hope you easily get an idea. Please, everyone.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And these kind of programs I will be giving you in assignments, which will use your brain to think what have to be done, what needs to be incorporated, right? Like I haven't planned this kind of activity, means this kind of program in the beginning means before taking the class, I didn't think I will give this kind of problem or program to you. I didn't ever plan. But right now it came to my mind, it will be good. We will be covering 3 important concepts. What? We will be involving break statement. We will be using else statement. So we will understand that easily. And application can be the best thing for that. So this way you will remember, we played a game, a sort of game. We designed an application, which you are giving someone to guess your password. Please tell me, everyone, is it fine? Everyone, please, everyone.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next.
Yes, sir.
That's good.
Yes, sir.
That's good. Yeah, good. And I'll advise, please practice, because only practice will make you sound in the programming. Only practice will make you. Otherwise, Everything till I'm typing seems easy, but when you start typing, you fall into the trap. This is about the coding, and same thing is with the mathematics as well. Until you do practice, you won't get success. Okay, it may be possible. Even I sometimes stuck in the programs. That's not a problem. We are humans. We are not perfect. If somebody says I'm the master of this, he's the biggest fool in this world. Except God, nobody is master of anything, right? So we are all are learners. Even you are learner, and myself is a learner. Even if you fail in writing the programs, don't take it down. I'm not able to write. It happens with everyone. Even trust me, I've recently given a training in IBM. And what happened there, even it was not IBM, it was a venture of IBM, means a sort of takeover they have taken. And I was delivering some program there. So I met professionals there, and they told me that even they found some difficulty there. Okay, so don't find it. They find it difficulty to get to the Stack Overflow, such there, and they come back. It's very much normal if something is skipped by. Okay, now similar to the break statement, there is one more statement which is known as continue statement. Continue. Okay, but what it does, it don't take you out of the loop. It just let you skip the current iteration. Okay, and continue with next iteration. Okay. For example, what I'm going to do this time, instead of string or range, I'm going to take a list. Okay, and I'm going to take a list, and suppose the list name is fruits. And the fruits, so list is started with all these square brackets, and it can have any data type, even of mixed type, numbers, integers, everything it can have, doesn't matter. So right now I'm putting some strings, like apple. Okay, second one, banana, and third one is, let's say, cherry. Okay, what I want to do, I want to print the name of every element of this list, like apple, banana, and cherry. But if I want to do that, that can be done very easily. How? Can you tell me how can I print that? Now you can tell me, you know the syntax of for loop. I want to print every element of this list.
Fruit
Tell
of
me.
0.
No. That is a different way. I want to print using for loop. How can I do that?
Okay.
Please. Fruit of 0 will give you apple for sure. You are 100% right. Now I want to use the loop. Tell me. You know the number for you will put, right? Anything you can put. I put for the loop variable, you can put anything you want. Suppose I put X, is it fine? I can put X or not? Anything I can put. Okay. In which thing you want to go? You want to go iterable. Iterable is fruits. Yes, fruits. Very good. Okay. And I can do print of, what I have to do, tell me. Print of
X.
Yes, only X. Print of X, because X will have individual value in every iteration. In first iteration, X will be apple. In second iteration, X will be banana. In third iteration, X will be cherry. So if I'm going to do that, it is going to print one by one. You can see that. Okay. But suppose what I want, if your X is equal to banana, I don't want to print that. Are you getting my point? If it's X equal to banana, I don't want to print that. I want to skip that iteration. Is it fine? What my task is, if X equal to banana means if the name banana comes, I don't want to print that on a screen. I want to print apple. I don't want to put banana. I want to print cherry. So what we can do, before printing, I can put a statement. Wow, if X equals, if this X equals what?
Banana.
Right? Banana. Put a colon here and put continue here.
Continue.
Okay. Don't put print text here. If you put the print text in the same indentation as continue, it will be skipped. Don't do that, right? So what we did, remember? Earlier it was like this, Control X. Simple like this. Here intentionally, what I did, I put if condition. Okay, and within if I write continue. So what continue will do? It will check if x equal to banana, that means continue. It won't execute the next statements available inside the for loop. Whatever you have put inside the for loop after continue, those will not execute it for the current iteration. For the current iteration, for the next iteration, it is going to work fine. No issue with that. So you can check. So how it is going to work? In first iteration, x will be apple. So it will check x apple equals to banana. Condition will be false. So continue won't be executed. You will move to the next statement. What you will do? You will print your apple. Fine. In next iteration, x is going to be banana. It will check banana equals to banana true. Immediately it will continue. Continue means skip whatever is written inside the for loop after this, and it will move to the next iteration. That means your print statement will be skipped. Okay, so apple will be printed, and you will go to the third iteration, cherry. So x will be cherry. So cherry equals to banana, not possible. So this if statement fails, I'll print cherry. So let me run this, and you will check it out. Please check. Is it fine, everyone? Please.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Break statement. Remember, break statement, continue statement, for and else. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Great. So now move to the next one, which is known as nested loops. Means loop inside the loop. That's it. Nested loops. Okay. Loop inside a loop. That's it. What do you mean by nested loops? Loops inside another loop. That is nested loop. And you can put as many as you want. It's up to you. Okay. For example, I'm writing a for loop for a loop variable name I gave it x in range. Okay. Numbers I put 5 here. Okay. Colon, enter. And inside that, I again put a loop for y in range. X and Y are my chosen name. You can put any name you want. I put 3. Okay. I put a colon, enter. Under the indentation, what I write, print. Okay. Let's say formatted string, double quotes, sorry, double quote or single quote, anything you want to put, you can put on. Okay. I'm doing that. And I'm putting, suppose, a bracket in which I will put some x and y value. Suppose first I want to put x value, so I put quote, these curly braces x. Then I put a comma. Then I put again curly braces and I put y. Okay. And after this is done, let me close it here. Formatted string, right? So how it is going to work? Understand properly, please. First of all, this is outer loop. This is inner loop. This is outer loop and this is inner loop. So what will happen in the first iteration? What will be the value of x? Remember, in first iteration, the value of x will be
0.
yes. Okay. When x is equal to 0, we will enter inside. With taking x equal to 0, we will enter inside and we will enter here. And here you can tell how many times this loop will run.
3 times.
Yes, 0, 1, and 2. So what is going to happen? For every x, this loop is going to run 3 times. Is it okay or not? For every x, I repeat. For every x, because this is outer loop, this is inner loop. So for every loop variable, every value of loop variable, your inner loop will work for 3 iterations. So what will happen? Initially, if I put here command, so x will remain 0, right? And what values y will occupy when x will remain 0? First, y will occupy the value to be
0.
then it will occupy 1, then it will occupy 2, right or wrong? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Then
sir.
we will move to the next iteration of x. Now x will become 1. And same process will repeat. For now x equal to 1. Again, this loop is going to run for 3 times.
3 times.
Right? So y will be having values 0, 1, and 2. Right? Similarly, your x will move to the next iteration, that is 2. Again this way. So can anybody tell me how many times in all this loop will run? In all. If we time, how many iterations will be there? In all, if we count. The above one will go run for 5 iterations, right?
5.
And the bottom one will run for each time
3.
3. In all, how many combinations will become?
15 times.
15, right? So this is what is going to be shared here. You will be seeing 15 coordinates here. You will get x equal to 0 and y equals to 0. X equal to 0, y equals to 1. X equal to 0, y equals to 2. Then x equal to 1, y equal to 0. X equal to 1, y equals to 1. X equal to 1, y equals to 2. Then x equal to 2, y is equal to 0. X equal to 2, y is equal to 1. X equal to 2, y is equal to 3, and so on. Right or wrong? So let me run this. Please check it and you will understand everything properly. For every x that is 0, 0, 0, we are getting 3 values of y, right? For every x, again, 3 values of y. For every x, 3 values of y. For every x, 3 values of y. Please tell me, everyone. Is it clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Everyone clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any doubt in today's class, please? Any doubt, even a single doubt, please tell me.
No doubt, sir.
Everyone, please. I'm listening the words of 2-3 boys, 2-3
No,
participants only.
No doubt, sir.
No doubt, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. So I'll advise you. I will advise you one thing. Whatever code I have.
During practical practice, then problem getting.
Then
So,
it's fine. It's perfectly fine. That's good. When you are getting errors, that means you are trying at least.
Yes, sir.
This is the best. This is the best way. Every people learn by the mistake. Once you do some mistake and you recall from that mistake, what will happen? You won't repeat that mistake again in the future for sure. So again, getting errors is one way to tell you this is not the way to do. Is it fine or not?
Yes, sir. Right now,
Yeah, please.
right now this program looks like so good, but during the practice, it will be getting errors. Then
No
at
issue.
that
No,
time,
no issue with that. No issue. You can message me if you find it. People used to message me. Several people used to message me. Like
Yes,
today,
sir.
like today, Abhijit Sonwane has done some program and he was having some errors. He messaged me immediately, and the problem solved. Right. So you can message me. No issue
Excuse
with
me,
that.
sir.
Yeah, please tell me.
Sir, basically the error occurring is the cell there is